How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and today we are continuing the Deadpool Wolverine review series leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine, which is coming out this week. So I got a lot to cover this week because not just today's movie we're reviewing, Deadpool from 2016, but also Logan and Deadpool 2. But first, we're going to get through Deadpool 2016. This is the 2016 comic book movie directed by Tim Miller and once again starred Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. This time, his mouth is not sewed shut. This is Deadpool, not the merc with his sewed mouth that was experimented on and used just for the final act of a terrible X-Men Origins Wolverine movie. But along with Ryan Reynolds, this film also stars Ed Skrein and Morena Baccarin. Sorry if I mispronounced those last names. And this is the origin story of Deadpool, how he became a mutant, and his quest to get revenge on the man that turned him into this, Ajax, whose real name is also Francis. And along the way, he also teams up with two members of the X-Men, Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And Colossus wants Deadpool to join the X-Men and move away from the life of killing and other horrible things. So, just like how X-Men Origins Wolverine didn't stop Hugh Jackman from playing Wolverine again, which thank goodness, because the Wolverine, X-Men Days of Future Past, and Logan were really good movies. X-Men Origins Wolverine did not stop Ryan Reynolds from playing Deadpool. And it took a while for a Deadpool project to happen, but we finally got it. This is a reboot, retool with Ryan Reynolds, done the correct way. And this movie touches upon the origins of Deadpool, how Wade Wilson fell in love, how he discovered the cancer that he had, and the lengths that he went to get rid of it, only to be tortured and disfigured by Ajax. And the thing that I love the most about Deadpool isn't just the humor, because first of all, the humor is incredible. They do such a great job with the humor in this movie. But it's not just the humor that works so well in this movie. It's the fact that there's so many different tones and genres combined into this less than 2-hour movie, and they do it so well. This is a romantic movie because you got the love story between Wade and Vanessa, and the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Morena Baccarin works so well. It's actually believable that these two are in love, that they're together for a while, and that they care about each other. Usually, a love story like this would be hard to pull off, but Deadpool managed to pull it off so perfectly well. It's also a horror movie in the scenes where you see Wade Wilson getting tortured, getting mutated, and you're also seeing all the other people that have gotten tortured and getting mutated against their will in Ajax's lab. It's a revenge story because once Wade Wilson is mutated and disfigured, he goes on a revenge quest against Francis. It's also obviously a superhero movie because you got superheroes in there, you got comic book characters in there, you got the comedy aspect, you got the action aspect, you got all this different stuff that's happening in this movie, and Deadpool pulls it off so well. Another thing that's handled so well that didn't deserve to be handled as well as it did was the fourth wall breaking. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall so many times in this movie, and it never gets annoying. It's handled so well. It's comedically timed so well. References to other movies, not just movies that Ryan Reynolds was in. There was a reference to Green Lantern in this movie, references to the other X-Men movies. But there was even like a reference to Blade 2 in this movie. Like, that was handled so well. Another thing is that with Deadpool, similar to other great comic book movies, there is side characters, secondary characters in this movie that stand out, that help enhance this movie. They don't bring down the movie, similar to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and the Dark Knight trilogy. It's not just, Deadpool that makes this film great. Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead do a great job. Colossus, who looks really good, by the way. I will say this. Of the X-Men movies that have come out at this point, this is definitely, as far as comic book costumes go and designs, the most comic book accurate in regards to how Deadpool and Colossus look. With Colossus being the Boy Scout that's trying to pushed Deadpool on the right path. You got Negasonic Teenage Warhead, the trainee that doesn't seem to care, but when she's fighting, she's kicking ass. I'll say that she definitely a great addition to this franchise. You have the taxi driver Dopender. He is hilarious. His comedic scenes with Deadpool are funny. And I didn't realize this, but Ryan Reynolds said Dopender is based off a real friend that he had that unfortunately passed away when they got struck by lightning. But yeah, Dopender, great addition to the movie. Love those scenes. I love the song choices in this movie. The beginning of the movie, during the opening credits, first of all, the opening credits, that's probably the best opening credits in a comic book movie, or one of the best in a comic book movie. They don't even use the actors' names. They just like either find ways to praise them or insult the actors. It's just hilarious. But showing like a freeze up of what's going to be an action scene in the movie, playing Angel in the Morning, that is a great choice. And that really sets up the tone of the movie that we are going to get. Um, is there anything negative about Deadpool that I can point out? No, I wouldn't say there's any negatives about Deadpool. I would say there's probably two things that some people might not be big on, but I definitely didn't mind. The first thing I'm going to say is definitely the tone of this movie. This is an R-rated comic book movie, and there's obviously crude jokes in this, crude scenes, gory action, very violent action, a lot of curse words, a lot of swear words. If that's not your thing, then Deadpool's not going to be your movie, but I didn't mind that. The second thing is some of the flashback sequences that happen in this movie. First of all, they're handled really well. There's nothing wrong with the flashback sequences. Some people might not like when they occur. They usually are happening. They're usually happening during this action sequence on a highway, and sometimes they can be long, but they're interesting. They're great. They're great flashback sequences, but some people might not care about them as much and want to get to the action. But for me, I didn't mind them, so I don't consider them a negative. That just might be a nitpick that other people might have. The villain Ajax, aka Francis, an underrated villain in my opinion. Very sadistic, very sinister. Ed Skrein does a great job of portraying him. Is he the best comic book movie villain? No, but compared to some of the villains we were getting in comic book movies before Deadpool came out and afterwards, I would say he's definitely one of the better ones. Not the best, but definitely one of the better ones. And I think just overall with Deadpool, this movie came out in 2016. It was the first of the comic book movies of 2016. That was the year of not just Deadpool, but Batman vs. Superman, Captain America Civil War, X-Men Apocalypse, Suicide Squad, and Doctor Strange. Obviously, during the height of comic book movie excitement of the 2010s, at a time where people started wanting to see more unique, original, fresh takes, Deadpool was that fresh, unique take. Don't get me wrong, we were getting R-rated comic book movies before that. The first Blade movies, Watchmen, those were good movies, but Deadpool took it up a different notch. It broke box office records. It got the best reviews of any R-rated comic book movie until the following year when Logan came out. So for me, Deadpool, I consider one of the most important comic book movies in the last, not just 10 years, but last 15 years. Maybe not the most important, but one of the most important. And for a while, I considered Captain America Civil War to be the best comic book movie of 2016. I still think it's a great movie. I still love that movie. But I think Deadpool has slightly aged a little bit better than Civil War. And rewatching it, I would say I prefer Deadpool over Civil War, even though I think both are excellent movies. I think they're great movies. But Deadpool, until Logan came out, this was the best R-rated comic book movie. It's got a great balance of tones and genres. It's got great performances. Ryan Reynolds is incredible in this movie. They finally let him loose. And thank goodness they gave him a second chance after X-Men Origins Wolverine. The costume looks great. Colossus looks great. The humor works so well. The action works so well. The horror, the love story, the revenge story, everything is done so well. I have no complaint with Deadpool. And not only is this one of the best R-rated comic book movies, it's one of the best in the X-Men franchise. It's one of the best solo comic book movies ever made. And I love that they only had two X-Men characters in this movie outside of the Deadpool characters. Well, two X-Men members, sorry. And they still balance it out so well. It's still Deadpool's movie. I'm going to give Deadpool an A+. I love this movie, and if you don't mind, crude jokes and very violent violence, I highly recommend you check out Deadpool. So, what are your thoughts on Deadpool? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And what do you think is one of the most important comic book movies to come out in the last 15 years? Not the most important, but maybe one of the more important ones that doesn't get talked enough about. Let me know in the comments down below, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please share this with someone that likes Deadpool and X-Men movies, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Next movie, we're talking about one of the all-time best comic book movies, Logan. So stay tuned, and take care, everyone.